It's time for good energy, and I'm Dr. Julie, and welcome to Bodyful Day 188. We're talking today about plantar fasciitis and the senses, and hopefully you can hear me over the lawnmower. This is day 7 of plantar fasciitis and the senses, and we are talking about the kinesthetic sense. Kinesthetic sense is where your joints and muscles are in space. All right, let's start with the basics. Go ahead and take a deep breath in and release. Next breath in, you're going to expand, 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 and tuck that tailbone under. Deep breath in and release. And think about any stressors going on in your life. Think about the memory of that stressor. Even if it was today, think about you in that stressor at this moment. And you are going to breathe into your body at that time and just say, what if I just did this whole memory over, but I was relaxed and I was mindful and I was present? How would that have looked? Take a deep breath in and release. All right, we are on the final day of plantar fasciitis and the senses. And plantar fasciitis, if you haven't been paying attention, is that ouchy feeling you get at the bottom of your heel. So bottom of your heel, first thing you step out of the bed in the morning and you go ouch, 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 ouch. And we have talked about the way the senses can either tell us that something is going on, especially because I think, and I think there are a bunch of others that think that plantar fasciitis is an indicator of adrenal stress, or stress, which means it's excellent for the healing equation. Energy to heal equals good energy and minus stressors. And we have talked about how a lot of the other senses will have correlating symptoms when you have plantar fasciitis related to adrenal stress. So increased sensitivity to hearing, increased sensitivity to smell, increased eye. So eyes are going to be dilated, which means you're going to be sensitive to brightness. We've talked a little bit about vestibular. We've talked a little bit about touch and how those can be used to help improve plantar fasciitis. And today we're talking about the big one related to plantar fasciitis, which is kinesthetic. And kinesthetic is the sense of where your muscles and joints are in space. And I briefly alluded to this a couple of days ago when we were talking about vestibular, but when you have heel pain, your plantar fascia, which is on the bottom of your foot, is also linked to your Achilles tendon. Achilles tendon is linked to your calf. And tight calf muscles can play a significant role in plantar fasciitis. If that calf muscle is tight, it will pull the Achilles, and then it will pull the heel out of place, and then it'll pull the plantar fascia to a point of making it really tight and painful. So today we're going to talk about ways to relieve that kinesthetic sense, and I have with me my trusty rolling pin. Now, for those of you who are physically fit, you may, especially runners, you may have something called the stick, which is a rolling pin with very narrow rollers, and it's bendable. So it can go around muscles a little bit. Obviously, a rolling pin is not designed to go around muscles, but the concept is still there. What you want to do is you want to take your calf, I'm going to move it up here. You want to take your calf and you want to work upward all the time, but you're going to take your calf and you're going to push you're literally going to push your rolling pin into the muscle. And you're just going to do a little bit of motion, and you're going to kind of move all the way around. And as soon as I get to here, I'm like, I feel that. So when you feel a tight spot, you just kind of hang out there for about 20 to 30 seconds. And then you work your way up and around. And if you've got another tight spot, you work on that for another 30 seconds. And then you work your way up a little bit more and across the calf. And there's another spot, so I'm going to spend a little time there. And you do this all the way up the calf muscle. The calf muscle is actually not a single muscle. It is actually two muscles, the gastroc and the soleus. And they need to slide back and forth over each other because they do slightly different activities. And when they don't slide over each other, you get tender points in your calf muscle. Again, not really a single muscle, but actually two muscles. And technically one muscle with two heads, and then another muscle that's got one head that's attached origin and insertion are in one place. And so what you want is you want that muscle to move freely. And this rolling pin technique is a great way of making sure that any place where they don't move, there is pressure and tightness. And so you're pushing into that muscle and you're rolling back and forth in an attempt to kind of loosen the two muscles so they eventually break free. And in doing that, you've got more range of motion in that calf, and the heel is then allowed to go from a too far back position to a little bit more of a forward position, which relieves some of the tension on your plantar fascia. So that is one way to do that. You can also know that the calf muscles are connected to the hamstring muscles. And so you can also, if you figure out that, there aren't any tight spots in my in my calf muscles, maybe there are tight spots in my hamstring, and you can do the same thing. Press in, kind of wiggle back and forth, go all the way around, and work your way up. Now you may be wondering why I am saying very surely, always work your way up. Never go down, or never, Martha Stewart gets angry if you pull back on your rolling pin when you are making a crust or making bread dough or biscuit dough. She says you need to roll forward and then shift and roll forward and shift and roll forward and shift. We do not want to roll forward down any of our leg muscles because you have veins in your legs that, let me close that out. You have veins in your legs, and your veins, unlike your arteries, which actually pump blood, your veins are little valves, have little valves where your unoxygenated blood is trapped until you squeeze your muscle again, and then it goes up. And when it goes through the next valve, the valve opens and closes, and then blood is trapped on either side of the valve. The problem is that if you roll down, you are pushing blood against that valve, and when that valve eventually says, nah, I don't have this anymore, this is when you get veins, bad veins. What are they called? I can't even remember now. The veins that poke out of your body. The term is totally not coming to me. But anyway, that's when you get the veins that pop out of your legs that don't look very good. And that's because the valves above that point have broken, and you've got a lot of blood pooling in those veins. Those veins expand. And so you now have more blood that you have to pump. Varicose, there we go, varicose veins. So if you want to avoid varicose veins, always work from the foot upward. Never work down. Never ever work down. Always work up towards the body. Same thing if you're going to rolling pin your arms. I don't know many people who do, but if you want to rolling pin your arm, you always work up towards the heart. Always work up towards the heart because the veins go with gravity. All right, so thus ends our fantastic week on plantar fascia, varicose. Yes, Jim. Thus ends our fantastic week on plantar fasciitis. Next week, I think, what had I decided? It was going to be something fun, and I can't remember what it was. But I have it already all planned out. I just can't remember what the topic is. But it's going to be a fun week because it's not something that you would normally expect to associate with the senses. But that's just because anything can be associated with the senses, because the senses can be both a stressor and good energy in for just about anything you experience. All right, I hope you're having a wonderful weekend. I will see you out here tomorrow night where we talk about our next topic, which I'm sure is a fun one, and I can't remember what I laughed as I planned it out, but for the life of me, just like varicose, I can't remember what the topic is. So have a wonderful day, and I will see you here tomorrow. Bye.